Next up, we have glancing salute, and this is a carry-on or continuation or what if for triggered salute. So again, if triggered salute, as we've seen in the past, is coming as a direct right push, so that would be a right push to my left shoulder, and I'm stepping up to meet it. This time we have a right cross push. So in this case now, my hand will be going to the right shoulder. So if I'm attacking with my right push, it can be to the right shoulder in this case. Now, again, on this, we could be looking at the position that we do it from for ideal purposes and for, beginner practice and so on. We could do it as a step through right push, or as I've said in the past, that could be a shove followed by a more kind of intentional push or direct kind of contact push where I'm starting to push across the body. So again, it can be done from a number of different places. Ideally speaking, a push, we wouldn't really telegraph it. A push would come from very much a short stance if we're doing it from here. So again, in our case then, with that cross push coming in, what we're actually going to do is we're going to do a very similar move, but on the opposite side to triggered salute. This time we're moving on the outside, where triggered salute, as we've seen, moves on the inside. So in this case, we're doing a very similar pinning move on the wrist or at the wrist with our right hand, okay? Now again, I'll talk about the hand positions and that in a moment. From there then, as we move forward, we're going to do almost like a left inward block at this point, and that's going to be a break at the elbow or a hyperextension, as we said, at the elbow. So again, you're catching inside the wrist and outside the elbow, and you're applying pressure in two directions, minimum, okay? So one inward force, second outward force at this point. So when we step in, we've got that jarring motion going on, which causes that hyperextension. Similar to lone kimono, we're going to get that pop and take away the left side in this case as well. So once we move forward on that, we're going to do this position. Now, it can be done with hands open. It can be done with hands closed. Ideally speaking, I would advise people who are learning this technique not to have their thumbs here. Reason being, you could thumb yourself in the eye. So, again, let's treat it as a hands closed for now for basic purposes. But again, this could very definitely be an open-handed check or a pinning check in this position for more advanced students as well. So once we take our step forward, we're going to turn. This is going to pull in inside the arm, and we're going to hit our break or hyperextension here at this point. After that, as we've seen in the past, the person will potentially go up on their toes. So we're going to have a pin down or a pinning check from here, okay? As we have that pinning check, we're going to have our glancing salute. Now, glancing salute, we'll talk about the name in a few moments. But as we pin down, we have our palm strike going through to the side of the jaw. From here, we're going to grab around the neck. And it's important that we don't try pull with just our wrist, which a lot of people will do, because moving a body that is already moving backwards is going to be very difficult to pull in at this point. So it is important that while you're using the arm in this shape, you're pulling from your lats through your body to pin that person in, okay? A lot of people do struggle with that. So it is important that when you're pulling, you're using the whole body to control that in, okay? Now, from here, once we've done all this, we've come around our hook, we have our knee, and that knee can be to the leg, can be to the groin, can be to the stomach. It really just depends on how close the person is. The important thing is we're also pinning in with this check here. We're going to hit this knee, and then from here, as we land, some people stop at the knee. I like to continue to the elbow. The hand is around the neck from here, and again, we've talked about this in the past where people will sometimes pull back on a large elbow. It's not necessary. We can do a flapping elbow from here or a flapping inward where we literally pop from here to here. It's a very short range elbow, but no less devastating as well because we're hitting the face at this point. So again, we have our hit, we have our palm strike around the neck, we have our knee. As we land inside the leg, potentially checking the leg too, we can hit our elbow from here. And at that point, we would cross out. Now, in terms of the name for glancing salute, there could be two different ways of looking at this. One, the first salute is a palm shot or a push from the attacker. So therefore, that could be the salute in this case as well, okay? So the glance here in this case is the fact that it is not making full contact with your shoulder. It's a glancing push in this case, or a direct cross push, as we've said. Sorry, not direct cross push, but a right cross push in this case. What we are then looking at potentially is where most people would name it, the glancing salute could be indeed your palm strike coming through and glancing past the head to then pull in with your knee and hit your elbow from there. If we take it that thrusting salute is named based on the salute that we do at the end of the technique or the palm strike that we do at the technique, it would follow suit that what we are doing in this case makes the salute. But you could make the argument for either. Okay, so again, glancing salute, we have our check here, or our hyperextension, our pin down on our palm strike around, we have our knee, and we have our elbow from here. And then we cross out.